This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Hi, welcome to our series Painting 101. Now, I had done some earlier, a couple of years ago, but they were done with a poor camera. And now that we have the 1080p camera and 4K camera, I think it's time to upgrade everything and add a bunch of stuff in there that we couldn't do due to the technology that we had at the time. The biggest thing I want to do, and I want to preface it right at the beginning, is that this is for the basic person. So all you hotshots out there and all you big timers, okay, you're going to want to not even watch this, okay? The biggest part, and the reason that this is called Intimidation, is before we even talk about supplies and we talk about technique and different types of things, we have to talk about the rudimentary basic of everything, which is intimidation. People are afraid to pick up a paintbrush because they're intimidated. Okay? I've seen some sites out there, I haven't seen them all. There are so many wonderful, talented people, but there are also so many people that have talent and are the biggest morons on the planet. And they intimidate people like you and I who just want to do it and learn how to take our board games, open it up, and instead of playing with gray pieces, maybe add some color into our world and paint something and express ourselves and try to make it more thematic through our eyes. I recently watched a couple of videos that just happened because our power had been gone for a while due to the hurricane. So if you see this 2 years from now, this is going to be a little dated. But I had seen a couple of videos that popped up as I was cleaning up things, and I just said, oh, let's take a look at that. That looks interesting. The way it was all brushed out and the way certain people come across. You know, if I was starting out, I wouldn't pick up a brush. Okay? The thing is, these guys spend half their time making fun of people for not doing things a certain way, or watering paints down a certain way, or doing this a certain way. Listen, when I talk about intimidation, you're not going to want to pick it up because you get ridiculed if you show your stuff off. Well, guess what? It's just like anything else. These guys, obviously, their mommies and daddies didn't love them enough, okay? But if they were to walk into a gym, they would feel the same way. It's because they have the upper hand. That's not what we try to do here. What we try to do, because by no means am I an expert painter. By no means do I even consider myself halfway good. But I do feel that I can convey a message. Bob Ross, people compare me to for some reason, or whatever they want to do, but they do that with about 10 other painters too. But the thing that, if you really look at it, the thing that he did that was so successful is that he really cared about what he was doing. Not how well he was doing it. He cared about you, the viewer, and wanted you to feel what he felt. So you can experience that same kind of thing. Anybody that's ever seen one of those videos just wants to pick up a brush and give it a whirl. Because he conveyed a message. As expert and as wonderful as he was, he made you see the beauty of it. And that's what we want to do here, is make you see the beauty of it. Not to be intimidated. Pick up that brush. We're going to start so basic, it's ridiculous. From getting the very simple supplies to maybe even pointing out little kits like this where you can get it, where this isn't very cost effective. And we're going to try to be cost effective and be open-minded to everyone. To the person with no budget, to the person that has an unlimited budget. But the thing is you're going to be able to color your world the way you see it and not feel guilty about it. I paint all the time. Nothing's perfect. Okay? Maybe I put too much shade. Maybe sometimes I don't water my paints down enough. But I paint things the way I see it and the way I feel comfortable, that when I get to the table and I put those figures on there, whether people love them or hate them, I feel good over the fact that I did this, and it makes it more thematic. Let's take some games like Too Many Bones. Okay, you could play with all the cheap chips. Okay, but when you upgrade and get all the really nice chips, does it change the game any? No, but it makes you feel more. It gives weight to certain things. Just the little nuances, the little things that can be done. That's the same thing with painting. Instead of those gray little plastic pieces and things like that, going to your table just gray. Some people like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes throwing a little paint, a little grass at the feet, just gives it the little. It doesn't change the gameplay, but sometimes in your mind just pulls you in more. Mare Nostrum, perfect example. You get the big, beautiful map. The regular map's fine, but the big map, it pulls you in, and that's what painting does. Not only do you have a sense of pride in doing it, but you also feel that you have done something, you feel good about it, and it enhances your experience of the game. That's the way I see it, and that's what we're going to try to attempt to do here. We're going to take all that intimidation out. We're going to make you just pick up a brush, no matter how expensive or how cheap a brush you can pick up, and just do the very simple basics to get you to finally open up a game and say, I can do this, I can try it. Rob showed me the way. Now, once you get to a certain point, there's only so far I can take you. There are some really wonderful and fantastic painters out there that can take you to the next level that I simply just can't. And I encourage you that once you get to that point, to do that. Just don't forget where you came from. Simply is that this is a growth process, and it's something that takes time. You can liken it, well, I liken things to the gym a lot. Once you go in there, it can be very, very intimidating, and people can show off all day long that they want. But if you have that one person that takes you by the hand and just shows you movement and fluency and helps you along, you'll see the growth as you progress. And you're able to be what you want to be. I always use the gym because it's something that I can know, but you can use it to sports or anything else in life, and that's what painting is. You don't know if you're good at it until you do it. And one of the things that we talk about, considering the gym, is that you have people that are very intimidating in there because they've done it for so long. But what about that person that wants to go in there and just make themselves healthy? Okay? Is it fair for that person because their egos are so big and everything else? And you can liken this to painting, because as I've gone through this, I've learned a lot of things and seen a lot of things along the way, and realized that it's no different than any other thing in life, whether it be sports, weightlifting, painting, or anything. If somebody's good at something and they abuse it because they're so good and they think they're better than somebody, instead of opening it up and making it where everybody can enjoy it. The same thing with painting, weightlifting, where somebody who is unhealthy will not go into the gym because they'll be intimidated. People should be open to help one another, to expand what is out there for their health. I'm not saying that you're going to be posing or in some huge weightlifting show, but get yourself healthy. Painting, just pick up a brush. Be able to express yourself. Use it in your day-to-day life to alleviate stress. You'll find that the world can be so stressful, and then sometimes just sitting down and with a paintbrush and a particular miniature for a particular game that maybe you painted and got ready for your game night that night or on the weekend, it'll pass some time and alleviate stress, and you'll find that you'll have more enjoyment with your games by putting more into your game. It makes your game more valuable. It makes you want to play these things even more sometimes when you've added your own touch to it. The whole point of this series is to get you to pick up a brush and show you how easy it can be. You don't have to be a master, and there are plenty of wonderful masters out there that can show you things that can get you to make some and create some beautiful art. And I believe a lot of you can. We've just got to get you to pick up the brushes, and that's what I intend to do from A all the way to Z, is to get you to pick up those brushes. And for me, that'd be the greatest gift, is to see you pick up and try it. Let's not get it wrong, it's not for everybody. But there's a bunch of you out there that I know want to pick up a brush and be able to paint your own stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some shopping at a couple stores, and I'm going to show you some more expensive stuff, some cheap stuff, and I'm going to show you some starter stuff that we're going to be practicing on and that you can get just about anywhere. We're going to take you from priming and prepping a model to putting a model together. Some models come where you have to put them together, what glue to use, all the way to the very end where we're even going to try to get into some airbrushing and some simplicity as far as airbrushing is concerned. So we're going to do a lot of things with this series, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Like I said, I'm going to make it as basic as possible, and it's not for the expert. And if you want a comment, there's other sites that you can go and be pompous and everything else with. This is for the beginner, for the person that wants to do it for the very first time and be brave and pick up a brush and be able to express themselves. So, until next week, when we start with a shop through on the things that we're going to need to get going, I'm Rob Warren, and we'll see you again on Painting 101, the series.